Ping Ping William, Ato in Juba, Malatori, hey, I'm yo, Ping Ping William, Ato in Benti, Walla Quaju, hey, wow, Ping Ping William, Ato in Malkal, Walla Pinyaram, Ping Ping William.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in. Welcome to Lagos State Media. Once again, to all our viewers who are watching us back home in Africa, in North America, Asia, and Australia. Please share this video with your friends such that reach out to many people. In the studio today with us, Hazim Abdul Muttalib Al Khalid, and also Majuk Makur. And we still have some more people that are coming. They will join us in the long run. We'll give the microphone to my brother Majuk Makur to give us more introduction about the today program. Majuk Fadal.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lagos State Media President Isaac Tiang, Paul. To our viewers, good afternoon, and we greeted you wherever you are. At this hour, we are actually in the studio with Azim and many more guests who will join us within the next few minutes. And the guest of tonight or today or this morning, most especially our brothers from Sudan. And the topic of today is basically about the unprecedented crisis in Sudan, especially in capital city Khartoum, which is now entering into the third week. And many people, almost close to 1 million people, have already lost their life. Most especially women and children are the victims of such crisis. And they will update the public and the general public across the globe in regard to the status of the current crisis in Sudan and the massive ongoing evacuation of foreign citizens. And what is the way forward from Sudanese in diaspora and those Sudanese back home? At this juncture, permit me to welcome our guest to give us his opening remark. And remember, this is not the first time for them to come to Lagos State Media. This is the second time, and we will be continuing, actually hosting many of them to discuss many things in regard to the crisis in Sudan, because the crisis in Sudan need our head together as South Sudanese and also as Sudanese. At once, we are one nation, and we still each other keepers. So we really need to be mindful about that. To our viewers, a reminder once more, like what President said before, share this live show on your Facebook wall so that it can reach to many South Sudanese, many East Africans, many Africans, and many world citizens in order to hear the first-hand information from the horse's mouth. Thank you so much, Mr. Azim. You are highly welcome to give us your opening remark before we dive into our conversation of today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for the state media, for the Lagos State Media. We always come here to discuss and share the news, and very much appreciate the effort for the brothers in South Sudan. And I'm very much appreciate you guys, your concern and your support along the way, along the crisis that's going on in Sudan right now. A lot of life have been lost, hospital, dysfunctional, and it's a lot of people fled the country. There's no power, there is none on there. So it's actually a very bad situation. It's a call for humanity. Appreciate my presence today with you gentlemen, sharing the concern of Sudan. And as you said, we are one nation, regardless the political map that had been drawn between us, we still heart and soul as one nation. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Azim, for your remark. Indeed, we are one nation. I will yield it back to Mr. President to welcome our new guest and then give him opportunity to give us his opening remark. Thereafter, we go straight to our conversation of today. Thank you. I yield it back to you, President.
Thank you so much, Hazim, Khaled, and Majok Makur. Welcome, Rose, to Lagos State Media. أنا ما أعرف إذا ممكن تفتح مايك اسم شنو كاميرا بتاعك عشان يشوف صورة بكون كويس. And you are highly welcome to Lagos State Media. Do you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. تفضل.
Hi. How are you guys? How are you?
We are good, thank you. Can you open your camera, please?
Yeah.
Yes. والله شكرا.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. How are you, Mr. Abdulazim?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you. How are you? How is your family?
Oh, alhamdulillah, the situation is so bad, but
Yeah, it is.
today I think there is a lot of things going on in my city. So my family, they moved from the house to the different area. And
Oh, God save them.
Yeah.
God save them. Our heart with them all the way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sky Rose, for joining us. I'm by the name of Jok Makur, Lagos State Media staff and Secretary General at the same time. And we really appreciate you joining us at this time to discuss the crisis going on within Sudan and within Khartoum. Before wasting much of our time, let's go straight to the topic of today and the discussion of today. And I will begin with Azim. Kindly, can you update the public on the status of the crisis in Sudan? What is happening? There are three ceasefire which were actually being delivered to them by the regional bodies, but it seems there has been continuous violation of ceasefire, and citizens are wondering on which side is violating the ceasefire, and the international community also is concerned with this continuation violation of ceasefire. Then what will be the next move? And the life of citizens in Sudan is at stake. Thank you, Mr. Azim. The chance is yours.
So actually, the ceasefire announcement that been delivered through the United States, this is number 5 actually. But most of the parties are not fulfilling any obligation towards that. They're not respecting even the basic rule of war, the bombing citizenship, either sides. And the citizens are the one that's suffering and the dying. So I think the world is not doing enough to pressurize those boss will prevent our armed forces or the rebel forces. The rebel forces will not stop because their main intention is to destroy this country. Our armed forces are also led by people that they are not seeing the clear picture on that sense. So our call here always for our armed forces is for the other armed forces, not the leader that they're on the top of the council right now, Al Burhan, Kabashi, and Yasser Al-Atta, and Ibrahim. These are not the right people to lead the country in such crises. So my call here, the best way to stop these things is to change that council, changing the council, like our colonel, lieutenant generals on the armed forces of Sudan, they could throw over those 5 people of the top, and they could lead and start doing the right thing and remove the rebel forces from the scene, because the Sudanese armed forces are very capable. Sudanese armed forces are very capable of getting rid of these people immediately. But the problem is, and we are fighting for what? 2 war criminals, Burhan and Hemeti, 2 war criminals are killing themselves, killing us and killing our nations. For what? For their power. Everyone is seeking his own power. So the ideal situation right now, the country in a bad shape. There were 62 hospitals out of commission right now. There is no power. There is no internet. There is no basic needs. There is needed a lot of. There is bodies on the streets, are rotten now on the streets. So there is a lot of people that got injured. Nobody is helping children, women, youth. A lot of people. You stay in your house. Nobody is safe. You stay in your house, and suddenly your house is being bombed. So the situation is such manner that I think there was a lot of ways that the world could put a lot of brushes, and because we know the world might not do much for us, I'm positive and confident within the armed forces. There is a very honorable soldiers in Sudanese armed forces that they could throw over the topple those five and remove them away, put them somewhere in jail and lead and come out and lead this change and do the right thing by eliminating the rebel forces of the ground, by eliminating the rebel forces of the map of Sudan and chase them away. I think we have armed forces could do that, but our leadership is also not doing that. The leadership of the armed forces are not doing that, and basically because they wanted to do that, because they want to be in power forever. And behind that is the security, the security committees that actually the original regime is still ruling. The original regime of Omar al-Bashir is still ruling on, is still on that top militaries, the people. So for us and for the United Nations, for the world to put pressure and call for ceasefire, and nobody is listening, and everybody is lying. I'm the one not violating. I'm the one not violating. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how long this is going to continue. We don't know how long this continue. And like 10 million people fled the country, and there is no, even during when there is no war, even when there was no war, they're going on. The people is going along a very hardship. There is a lot of threatening circumstances for everybody. People are not able to eat food. People are not. Some people are struggling for day to day to put food on their children's table, a day to day. Now with the war, imagine what the situation is. We, as a qualified Sudanese abroad, we are also trying to send some medical supplies, some medical aid, some foods for children, for women, and we have the ability to do that as the sons of these nations. We have the ability, and we get around about $1 million of medical aid and supplies and stuff. But we have a serious problem on delivering those, because how could we deliver them if we send them to Egypt? If we are trying to send them to South Sudan, and I'm very grateful for some people and the government of South Sudan that reaching out with us and collaborating to help us send this aid through them. But the main issue from there, how can we deliver it and where we could deliver it? We requested the armed forces that they open Dongola airport for us so we can do that. We asked the world that the same way you extract your diplomatic people from the ground, why not give us the same chance and the same opportunity to deliver the humanitarian aid? But nobody is listening, because the war is still, so for this war, everybody has something on it. If we look at the world, if we look at the regional countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they have for their sake, they want the war to continue. They want the country to be ripped off. And if you look at the international community, they're doing the same. So, and by saying that, if we go back to the history in 2019, when this agreement has been taken place, they witnessed that. The entire world witnessed that. The United Nations there, the UNITAM was there, everybody was there. And it's the history is repeating itself here. And then in 2020, when Al-Burhan threw over and took his coup over when his term is over and he's supposed to hand it over to the civilian, that is what happened. So he turned his mind away because he don't want to give the power away. He don't want to leave what he has, because now he got greedy. And so at that time, the rebel forces was there. When was the rebel force? And now the whole fight about merging the rebel force, the rebel forces, or whatever you call it, inside the military armed force, it was there. They created it. Al-Burhan is one of the main creators of the rebel force. He's one of them. He's one of the creators, and it's supposed to follow that. In 2017, on the parliament, they came with this legislation, and they gave it that autonomous alone. But why it became that powerful? Because it helps the regional countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia. They used it in Yemen because they don't want to fight themselves, so they have people who could bear and fight for them. And the Western community also take a benefit of Hemeti, because he stopped the illegal immigration through Sudan, through Libya, through that route, because it was huge for them. And he threatened them before. He said, if you don't help me out, I will open that illegal immigration through his route and everybody. And that's why they need for him. So everybody has a piece on it. So, and what is the solution on doing so, on solving the real problem, is in Sudan. The international community could do as much as it could do, but if they want to do it right, they could do it. But they don't want to do it. If they want actually to let these guys cease fire, they could cease fire. We were in number 7, chapter 7 on the United Nations Charter for Security Councils. They could threaten to use that. We are not allowing them because we know they're not doing enough to help the country. We know that they're all they care for themselves. They extracted people. They extracted people for the diplomatic from the country within how many? 24 hours, 48 hours max. Everybody's out. Now, why don't you use the same method and deliver a humanitarian aid? What is the Human Rights Commission? What is the United Nations doing here? So I can go on and on and on and on, but we know the solution is within the armed forces of Sudan. The real solution is within the armed forces of Sudan. They have to, some honorable soldiers has to stand up, gear up themselves, throw out those 5 councils and take over from Burhan, and then we'll go there, because the entire nation is supporting the Sudanese armed forces for the reason because Hameti, there is no chance and no winning path. And now people are saying that let us come back to the negotiation. Let us come back to negotiate what? Do you guys think that the negotiation between the 2 guys who fight and because of them millions are dying and millions are fleeing the country, now they come and sit down and say, okay, now we see where now we're going to negotiate and we're going to run the government again as the president and vice president? Is that logical? Is the nation welcoming that? Are we accepting that? Is the world going to accept such criminals to be ruling a country like Sudan? I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Azim, for your inputs and actually appealing to the international community to do their best in order to allow these people respect the ceasefire. We'll move to Sky Rose. To our viewers, our target or message receivers or audience are South Sudanese and Sudanese in particular, and other citizens or world citizens who may understood Arabic very well. So we will mix the 2 languages, the English and the Arabic. And to Sky Rose, you will give us your opinions or what is happening in Sudan now. Citizens are suffering, women, children are dying, hospitals being shut down, no food, no water, no transport, you cannot even go outside, and even in your own house, you are not still safe. What is happening? The chance is yours, Rose, and you can use certain language that you feel that you can portray and give credible information to our viewers. Thank you so much.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الذي يحدث الآن في السودان حدث قبل كده، من قبل في عدة دول عربية أو في الدول الأفريقية. فحاليا ما يحدث في السودان هي حرب دائرة بين طرفين يتصارعون على كرسي الرئاسة أو سيادة البلاد. وللأسف الشديد الذي يحدث الآن المتضرر الأول والأخير الشعب السوداني. المواطن السوداني البسيط هو الذي يتضرر الآن جراء هذه الحرب اللعينة، حرب دارت في عاصمة السودان اللي هي مدينة الخرطوم ب3 المناطق الموجودة فيها هم درمان، الخرطوم بحري. التعداد السكاني في المنطقة لا يقل عن 8 مليون شخص. قاذفات، طائرات حربية، مدافع ثقيلة، أسلحة خفيفة. كل الذي يحدث المتضرر الأول والأخير المواطن السوداني البسيط الذي لا يد له في هذا الصراع. هي عبارة عن ميليشيا حكمت السودان متكونة من الأحزاب السياسية التي طالما تدخلت في الجيش السوداني، وكان هدفها الأول والأخير هو الوصول إلى كرسي السلطة. واختلف، أنا بقول اختلف اللصان. يعني الذي يحدث الآن عبارة عن اتفاق كان بين السيد البرهان والسيد حميتي، واختلفوا على من يحكم السودان، من هو المستفيد الأكثر من الذي يحدث. المستفيد الأكثر هو الذي ينتصر في هذه الحرب. للأسف الشديد المنتصر في هذه الحرب هو الخسران الأول، والخسران الحقيقي على أرض الواقع في السودان المجتمع السوداني البسيط الذي تضرر من ويلات الحروب. يمكن من عهد الاستقلال إلى يومنا هذا انفصل ساو السودان بجراء هذه الاختلافات السياسية. المواطن السوداني كله في ساو السودان أو في نور السودان هو المتضرر الأول والأخير من جراء الأحداث السياسية اللي هي تكالبت دائما حواليها الأحزاب الفردية للأشخاص أو للأحزاب السياسية، ودي أيديولوجية واضحة. يعني إحنا كلنا we can see that through the military government. عمرها ما كانت خدمت المواطن السوداني ولا خدمت الأرض السودانية، بل هي دائما تخدم الأحزاب السياسية وتخدم المصالح الشخصية والفردية، إلى أن أتى الحزب اللا إسلامي بالميليشيا بتاع ميليشيا الحميتي والدعم السريع، أو كما يحلو للناس الآن القتل السريع، وأباحت دم الشعب السوداني البسيط في منتصف النهار في قلب العاصمة القومية. المتضرر الأول والأخير زي ما قلت هو الشعب السوداني البسيط، المواطن السوداني البسيط، اللي تهجر الآن من بيوتهم، من منازلهم، تحت أعين العالم. كل دول العالم ترى ذلك. وكما أشار الأستاذ الباشمهندس السيد عظيم، إنه يعني حتى أبسط احتياجات اللي ممكن تقدم لهم كحماية للفرد السوداني البسيط العالم لا يسمح بوصولها. أتت الطائرات إلى نقل الدبلوماسيين ولا نقل الأفراد الذين يحملون الجنسية المزدوجة من أرض السودان من غير حتى المراعاة لأبسط احتياجات السيفيليانز. There are a lot of people, they are dying, they are suffering, no medical, no food, nothing around them. يعني لماذا هذه الطائرات التي أتت أن تحمل هذه الرعاية من أرض السودان؟ ليه يعني why they didn't bring them with them any kind of help to those people, even just like small medical staff it could help. لا بس يعني حتى في جلسة الأمن الدولي، مجلس الأمن الدولي الأخيرة التي انعقدت 93/10 بدعوة من المملكة المتحدة، لأول مرة في تاريخ أرى إنه الدول الدائمة العضوية في مجلس الأمن تتفق على أن ما يحدث في السودان الآن هو عبارة عن شأن داخلي، وعلى السودانيين وحدهم هم أن يحلوا هذا الشأن أو أن يتدخلوا. المجتمع الدولي لن يتدخل ولن يفعل البند السابع. ويعني دي في أول مرة أنا أرى إنه الدول الأربعة دائمة العضوية، روسيا، أمريكا، الصين والمملكة المتحدة، اللي هي دعت لهذا الاجتماع إنهم يتفقوا على رأي واحد ويجمعوا على أن ما يحدث في السودان شأن داخلي، وعلى السودانيين وحدهم أن يصلوا إلى طاولة الحوار ويحلوا هذا البند مع التدخل. تسعى بعض الدول إلى التدخل، ويعني زي ما بنقول كده بالدارجي، يعني حلوا مشكلاتكم مع بعض انتوا كسودانيين او كمجتمع سوداني. فانا بطلب من الشعب السوداني كله يلتفت الى هذه النقطة، ويعني مشكلة السودان لن تحل الا بالجهود السودانية. فبطلب من الطرفين المتنازعين على السلطة الآن لا للحرب، ونجلس في طاولة الحوار. أنا بقول الحوار لا الحوار هو اللي يؤدي إلى تقاسم السلطة، بل الحوار الذي يدعم ويصحح المسار. السودان لن يستقيم إلا بدولة مدنية تحكم السودان وتطالب بكل الحقوق للمواطن السوداني البسيط اللي يعني عانى من هذه الحروب وويلاتها من يوم الاستغلال إلى يومنا هذا. وبطلب منهم إنهم يراعوا للمدنيين الموجودين في العاصمة القومية المثلثة، ويراعوا للظروف الصحية. كبار السن موجودين في العاصمة القومية، كمية من الأطفال والنساء والجرحى والقتلى، الجثث مرمية على الأراضي في الشارع. يعني حتى حرمة الإنسان، حرمة البني آدم تنتهك الآن، انتهاك واضح لكل الحقوق الإنسانية. وبطلب من الأمم المتحدة أو من العالم يعني على الأقل تقديم المساعدات البسيطة بس الطبية، يعني حتى بغض النظر عن المساعدات الثانية الأخرى. فأنا بقول إنه يعني ناشد الصليب الأحمر والهلال الأحمر تدخل بس لتقديم بعض المساعدات للجرحى وللجثث حتى الموجودة في الشارع إنها تدفن. حتى ساعات الهدنة لا تطيل ولا تسمح بذلك. فإذا التزم أحد الطرفين بالهدنة يخرج الطرف الآخر الهدنة ويسعى ويذهب إلى الميديا ويصرح بأنه هو أن الطرف الآخر اخترق الهدنة، وتدور المعارك من أول وجديد. ويعني الناس في دائرة يعني سبحان الله، يعني الليلة لنا تقريبا 14 يوم وداخلين على اليوم ال15. يعني نفس الذي الحدث بالأمس يحدث اليوم، وتدهور واضح في كل المجالات الصحية، في كل حتى يعني الناس هربت من منازلها في الخرطوم، يعني أسرة تتنقل من منزل إلى آخر، اليوم هذا في بيتنا، اليوم الآخر في بيت أحد أقاربنا، لأنه يبعد بعد 2 كيلو 3 كيلو من مناطق القصف. فيعني حتى إحنا بالخارج يعني لا نستطيع يعني مواكبة الأحداث، لا ندري بالضبط ماذا يحدث، ولا نأمن بكرة إيه اللي حيحدث أو حتى بعد ساعة من الآن. فنتمنى من الأطراف المتصارعة إنها تلجأ إلى العقل وتلجأ إلى مصلحة البلاد ومصلحة المواطن البسيط والرعاية السوداني المواطن البسيط السوداني البسيط يعني. ويعني كما نعلم الخرطوم تضم مختلف السودانيين من كل جهات السودان، من مختلف أراضيه الواسعة الشاسعة، وللأسف الشديد الناس جميع المواطنين هربوا إلى الأقاليم ناو، وناو الحرب تنتقل من إقليم إلى آخر. يعني شاهدنا ما حدث بالأمس في مدينة الفاشر، ضرب وقتل ونهب وتشرد للمواطن السوداني البسيط الذي لا يعلم إلى أين يذهب، لا يعلم إلى أين يذهب. الحدود السودانية مكتظة بالمهجرين ممكن نقول عليها أو بالعالقين ناو في الحدود. كمية من الناس توفت على الحدود المصرية. لحد الآن أخبار تقول أن 3 مواطنين سودانيين توفوا في الحدود السودانية انتظارا لفتح المعبر، فما بالك بالأعداد الهائلة التي ذهبت إلى حدود الساو والسودان،
Yeah.
ونفس الأحزاب نفس الأعداد ذهبت إلى منطقة تشاد ومنطقة الحبشة في الجانب الشرقي من السودان. فللأسف الشديد المواطن ليس لديه علم بما يحدث، وهو مواطن أصلا يرزخ في الفقر وفي الجهل وفي المرض. فحرب داهمت عبارة عن مجتمع بسيط فقير لا يسعى إلى غوت اليوم باليوم، أنا بقول غوت الساعة بالساعة. كل المواطن السوداني يمكن ما عندنا البنية التحتية ولا المدخرات التي تسمح لنا بحتى نخوض الحرب لمدة أسبوع أو أسبوعين، لأنه مواطن بسيط يسعى لغوت يومه بيومه. فيعني تخيل كيف يحدث هذا في شعب بسيط على عالم تتصارع على السلطة. ممكن نعرف إن السودان دولة غنية بما شهدنا به من سلاح في العاصمة القومية السودانية، مليارات الدولارات، أسلحة حديثة تستعمل من كلا الطرفين، توضح تماما على القدرة المالية لهذه ممكن أسميهم الميليشيا، عبارة عن ميليشيات تسعى لصالح نفسها وتسعى للسلطة عن طريق المواطن البسيط. شكرا جزيلا.
Okay, shukran. Yasser, your device is not connected. I cannot bring you up at all. It can't happen here. I don't know what is going on. Can you please try and connect the mic with the camera, and, or use another device to log in with? Go ahead, Majok. Thank you. Majok will be leaving us soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Rose, Sky, and Azim, for your inputs and for the request to the international community. You appeal to them in order to give pressure to these 2 warring generals in order to observe a ceasefire. Let me go back to Mr. Azim. How does it seem to be? Because the same buildings which were or infrastructures which existed for the last 67 years since Sudan gained independence in 1956 are now being destroyed by the very same people who built those infrastructures. The bomb hospitals, the bomb buildings, hotels, roads. How does it feel to the Sudanese people and in general to the region to destroy what you have already built, to kill the people that you may intend to vote for you if you want to be voted in? How does it look like? Can you give us your perspective on that? And before you answer that, you were saying international community is not doing much to give pressure to these 2 generals. You said you have medical aids, you have some aids that you have mobilized across the diaspora, and you want to render back to the people back home, the suffering citizens, and there is no way of you delivering the medical equipments and other services that you deem fit for your leadership to provide as Sudanese qualified. Kindly, can you tell us what do you expect IGAD to do? What do you expect to be done by the East Africa community, which is the neighbor of Sudan? What do you expect the international community to do now? Whom do you think international community should direct their pressure to? Is it General Amiti or Buran, the person that could listen to them? Thank you.
Okay, I will start with the medical aid, the humanitarian aid. The Sudanese qualified professional abroad. It's a wide organization that includes a lot of Sudanese themselves from all aspects of areas, doctors, all the professions across the world, whether in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, in Africa, in the Arab sides, in the Gulf region, and we have managed enough as a simple as a startup. I won't say enough, I will say just a startup, but we are failing for the last 15 days. We have talked everywhere. We've talked to Saruda Al-Burhan himself. We never talked to Hemeti because we don't believe, because if things withdraw and get in their hands, they will repeat it, because they are now attacking homes and breaking stores, and because they don't have that supplies themselves. So, but we have talked through the Egyptian government, we have talked through the South Sudan's government, we've talked to the Ethiopian government. And I think these are the three countries that we always expect help from because they are the closest to us. And the African nation, I don't believe on the African unity, the African community as a whole, or the union of the African community. They're just piece of guys, they sit in a hotel, drink, and say they do nothing. They actually have no existence. They have no role. Although as an African, we're supposed to be closest to them, and the world say that we are closest to them. So they actually did nothing in Sudan. They will do nothing for Sudan. They will do nothing for any country that going through a hardship or war or everything. So we are seeing that. We're witnessing. Can you tell me on the last 50 years, what is the African Union did to any nations other than just sitting down and sending a couple of speeches and that's all? The same thing in the Arab League. Arab League is a bullshit too. All the Arab League, what they did, and they are the reason so the Arab League is the reason for Sudan. The original problem of Sudan occurred from Arab League. In 1953, when Sudan had the self-governing from the colonizations, the Egyptian and British colonizations, and Al-Azhari came and our independence raised, and he decided by himself, he's a voted parliament, he decided by himself to put Sudan in Arab League. And at the same week, Anania went and announced theirs because they never been consulted. So the root cause of our problem, to solve any problem, we have to identify the root cause of it. And from there, all these political parties for their gain and for their self development and self-welfare, they did that. So we are not expecting anything from the African Union. We are not expecting anything from the Arab League, because Arab League, it is in their best interest. They destroy our country so they can take our resources, mineral, agriculture. Arab League has nothing. They have the oil, and that's all they have. Their food comes from our country. We are between South Sudan and North Sudan, we are a million square mile, and we have more than 300 square mile for cultivations. We have gas, we have uranium, we have titanium, we have gold, we have chrome, we have springs, we have a lot of resources. We are the richest country. We are the richest country in resources and poor in mind, politics, and other things like that. So, if you come back to the international community, they don't care. It is a fight between United States and Russia on Sudan. They wanted to build the navies in the Red Sea to control the area. They wanted the titanium and the uranium and the gold from Sudan. Russia wanted. Israel on the other side had his hand on. So that is why they don't want to intervene. That is why they don't intervene. And I do believe in our solution is our own hand. And our solution is not for Hemeti and for Burhan to sit down together and hug each other again and say, okay, we cease fire and now we're going to rule again together. No, we want them out, both. We want them out both. And here is the call for the Sudanese nation. And specifically, there is one group that who can make the change in Sudan and let us go back to normal. The Sudanese armed forces. قوات الشعب المسلحة. قوات الشعب المسلحة هي في مقدرة الشرفاء. الجيش في القوات المسلحة هم اللي يوعوا ويقلبوا البرهان دي. So the Rabbit Armed Forces has nothing, they're not that much equipped. Our military could ruin it in 24 hours. They could erase it off the map. They could chase them out. But we need the Sudanese Armed Forces, the Lieutenant General, the generals, the majors, everybody on that armed forces, apart from Al Burhan, Kabashi, and those 5 on the top, we're calling them. We're calling them out. We're calling these armed forces out. Take this group out. You lead and restore the peace in the country. Remove the rubbish support of the map. They can, they're capable. They're capable of doing that. So this is our solution. It started from there. We start the solution from there. Now, as far as the medical equipment, medical supplies, as we said before, we are not expecting them to donate for us. If we have little, because we need a lot. We need a lot. If they don't want to donate, we're asking them to open for us the lifeline. We need a lifeline to Sudan. We are sitting in equipment and medical support and medical aid for the last 15 days. We even try to reach personally to the armed forces, and I talked through the General Abraham. I said we only need these supplies to be land on the country. The resistance committee, we have a resistance committee, we have an emergency room, and this emergency room can take over and distribute it, and they have this, but we need to ensure their safety as well. And we have some international organizations like FH Canada that donate for us so many times, has donated to all African nations along the ways. They donated $1 million minimum all the time for us. So we send some to Nigeria. We sent in 2019 to Sudan $2 million of medical supplies and foods and during the uprising as well in 2019. And they're giving us, but they cannot fly because nobody will fly over that zoo if there is no guarantee from the international community, no guarantee from Meteo, they shoot it down in friendly fire. So what they say to us, here's what you need, you try to send it out. And as we're willing to bear for it, we're willing to do a lot of things. There is 12 million Sudanese abroad, 12 million. Sudan is 43,000 million in Sudan, 12 of that, there is another 12 million and a half distributed along the world, so in UAE, in the Gulf, in Europe, everywhere. And they're well qualified. And we have been talking about this in years and years. For the last 4 years, we have been struggling, supporting the resistance committee and we knew that's what had happened. Political parties have their own game, they have all agenda, they have own agreements with other countries that they wanted them in there. And so the solution is very complicated. But now our call to the world is we need a lifeline. We need a lifeline. We need a lifeline. We don't care where that lifeline comes from. I don't care what that given me by who. I don't care what that lifeline given me to who. But I need a lifeline. I'm calling the international community. I'm calling the whole 8 countries. We are surrounded by 8 countries. I'm calling the 8 African countries to come and help us, open for us the medical aid. We need a lifeline to support children, seniors, and people, and hospitals. That is what we're calling for. We're calling the international, we're calling the United Nations. We talk to the UNITAS, we talk to the human rights, we talk to the organizations, we talk to everywhere, we talk to UNICEF, we talk everywhere. We talk and we're asking them to open a lifeline. Opening a lifeline for Sudanese qualified abroad will be the starting point. Then the world can use the same lifeline to deliver medical aid and supplies. That is what we're calling for. That's what we're suffering. It is too painful to see children and women and people dying on the street, and we have things we cannot deliver. It is really painful. It is very painful to go through such things. It's very painful to see a family dies in front of your eyes and you stand doing nothing. And that is the most hurting part of it.
Sorry, Mr. Khalid, Azim. It's really very unfortunate and painful to have equipment that you can rescue your own people and you cannot even have access to rescue them. We are sorry for that. Kindly, the international community is with you. and your brothers from South Sudan are also with you. After this show, you'll try to be in touch with the president of Lagos State Media and see how best you can talk to the government of South Sudan to help by all means. For the recent few days, the government of South Sudan is trying to evacuate its citizens from Sudan. They can use that room or that way where they evacuate their citizens to South Sudan in helping you so that you can also penetrate and deliver the services to your own people. It is really heartbreaking and so sad at the same time. I will yield it back to President Isaac Tiang Paul
Really
to
much
ask
appreciated.
Mr. Rose so that Rose also can give us a perspective in regard to the same question. Thank you so
let
much.
Rose continue to elaborate more on this, the same question. Rose, further, Arabic.
شكرا جزيلا. هي نفس المناشدة بتاعت الباشمهندس عظيم، إنه بنناشد كل الدول حوالين السودان أو الدول العالمية حتى اللي هي أتت وأخذت الرعاية بتاعنا الدبلوماسيين من السودان، وفتح نفس الطرق إلى إيصال المساعدات الإنسانية، حتى أول أبسط حاجات اللي هي الميديكال ستينج، يعني الأنتيبيوتيك، الأدوية، الإسعافات الأولية، يعني فهي أنا متأكدة إنه عندها نفس الطرق اللي هي الطائرات التي أتت وأخذت كل الدبلوماسيين والأجانب من السودان، إنه برضو يفتحوا نفس الطريق لإيصال المساعدات البسيطة للمستشفيات، للمراكز الصحية، لمساعدة المواطن الجريح، المريض، الأدوية المنقذة للحياة. المستشفيات تفتقر تماما إلى كل الأجهزة أو أجهزة الأكسجين حتى معدومة، الأدوية، الإسعافات الأولية البسيطة لمعالجة الجرحى والمصابين والأطفال والنساء الموجودين في السودان، وتقديم بعض المساعدات العون الإنساني البسيط. أفتكر إنه الدول العالمية أو الدول المحيطة بالسودان قادرة على تنفيذ هذه المهمة، والشكر الجزيل للأخوة في ساوث السودان. وأنا بقول إنه إحنا شعب واحد، عمري ما يعني حتى لحد الآن بفتكر إنه السودان هو واحد، ويعني كلمة ساوث السودان حتى بالنسبة لي هي كلمة غريبة، لأنه أنا بفتكر ساوث والنورث هو واحد. ومشكورين الإخوة في القناة، ومشكورة يعني هم أخواننا، وبفتكر إنه يعني الألم واحد والوجع واحد، ونتمنى إنه نرى هذه الحرب إنها تقف قريبا في القريب العاجل، ونأمل من المجتمع الدولي والمجتمع الأفريقي حتى ينظر إلى الذي يحدث للسودان وللشعب السوداني بعين الرحمة، بعين الإنسانية البسيطة التي تدعي لحفظ السلام، حفظ السلام وحفظ الأرواح وحفظ ما تبقى من المواطن السوداني البسيط. وشكرا جزيلا.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rose, for your appreciations and your input. We really appreciate your time and Azim time too. And some of your colleagues who are still struggling with the connections to join us. If they fail to join us until the end of our show, and then we'll still schedule another show, because in regard to the issues of Sudan, we really need to continue speaking as many times as we can, so that we can reach out to many people. And I'm really happy with the leadership of Mr. Azim, which they are trying so much. And you Sudanese actually in diaspora, you are really doing a lot. But the challenge is how you can put your hand on the ground, but keep doing it with Allah or with a God. All things are possible, despite human inflicting pain upon the fellow citizen. Keep doing that and keep persuading many ways. God will open one way so that you can deliver the services to the suffering Sudanese, especially in the capital city, Khartoum. Up to this juncture, I apologize to our viewers and also to our guests that I might be leaving now. And then President will remain with you in the studio until the end of our show. May God be with you. and let's continue talking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Majok Makur. As you mentioned, the show is running out of time now, and the rest who are trying to come in, like Yasser and the rest of the team activists, we will reschedule another show with you again, and while all of them they are in, we can run more hours to talk, to give you a free length. So at this juncture, we would like to give you the last shot of yours, your final remarks, and then we will catch up again to reschedule another show like this while they are all present. So I will begin with you, Yasser, Hazim, to give your final remarks, and also Sister Rose, also Yedi Hakar Kilma, and then we close. Thank you.
State media. I'm grateful for Lake State Media. I always appreciate your efforts and appreciate your help. I'm also extending my thanks to South Sudan Community Association, some of them across Canada, across United States are jumping in, donating, helping us to try to open the lifeline for supplies of medical aids and stuff like that. And also I'm very grateful to the FH Canada organization that always stood by our side for donations and for assisting and helping, and whether there is a way we could find a lifeline, they're very willing to help. My also declaration from the Sudanese Qualified Association abroad, for all the Sudanese nation, for all the Sudanese abroad, for all the qualified people in Sudan, for the different organization of Sudan, for Sudanese community across the globe, Sudanese community across the globe, whether the Canadian Sudanese community, whether the US Sudanese community, whether a British Sudanese community, wherever you are, whenever you are, please extend your helping hand. Join us by whatever you can, by whatever kind of ideas. Give us a hand. And I want to also thank the young people on the ground in Sudan, the Sudanese resistance committees that declare our charter of resolutions, and I think there where the solution lays معاهم يعني. برضو يعني نحب نشكر لجان المقاومة في السودان للغرف الاضطرارية ومحاولة المتابعة والجهد الجبار اللي بذلوه في الميثاق الثوري لتأسيس سلطة الشعب كوثيقة حقيقية تستطيع أنها تقدم الحل المشاهد في السودان. وأيضا I'm very grateful for all the channels that trying to take our voice, especially State Lakes Media and other channels, so that we use them as a platform and they help us to send our voice to the world. So we are very blessed, we are very grateful, and we're still suffering. We will not give up. We will restore our country. Later, sooner we restore our country. We are paying a heavy price since 1956, and we continue paying for it, but now it is time to clean it from the rotten leadership and the rotten political parties. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hazim. Khaled, ندي فرصة لأخت روز، تفضل.
شكرا موصول لكم في القناة، و برضو الشكر موصول للإخوة في ساوث السودان لفتحهم للمسارات الأرضية وتقبلهم للإخوة السودانيين. وكما أسبقت الحديث يعني إحنا شعب واحد، وأتمنى إنه نرجع قريبا نكون دولة واحدة، ويكون شعب السودان هو شعب واحد وأرض موحدة ورمز للقيادة في القارة الأفريقية. وأتمنى من جميع الأطراف المتحاربة في السودان وضع السلاح والذهاب إلى طاولة المفاوضات وحفظ الدماء السودانية لكي نصل بالشعب السوداني على الأقل في هذه المرحلة إلى مرحلة التطور والنجاة من غضون الحرب الأهلية التي يعني نزير الخطر يدق بقروبها. فأتمنى من قوات الشعب المسلحة السيطرة على الموقف كاملا، وشرفاء الجيش كما أسبق باشمهندس عظيم بأنهم هم يلتحموا مع الشعب السوداني، وناشد بحكومة طارئة، تكوين حكومة طارئة لإدارة الموقف في البلاد، إدارة أمور البلاد، وتكوين حكومة مدنية تسعى وتخرج بالبلاد من المنعطف الخطير حتى لا نذهب إلى الحرب الأهلية الدامرة اللي هي حتشمل كل أراضي السودان. ونتمنى الفوز والنصر للشعب السوداني البسيط ولا لطرف من الأطراف المتصارعة، لأنه المنتصر هنا هو الخاسر الأكبر، والخاسر الأكبر هو المواطن السوداني. وأكرر شكري للأخوة في ساوث السودان ولقناة ستيت ليك، وإن شاء الله نتمنى نلتقي بكم في حديث آخر. السلام عليكم.
شكرا جزيلا روز. أنا بشكركم جدا جماهير الكل المشاهدين. We have reached to the end of our program, and not the limit of it. We will come back again with another show. Requesting everybody down there to join us in the next discussion, and also in the clubhouse. Those who are raising funds as well. You continue contribute, and we request it to help out, to reach out to our brothers and sisters in North Sudan. And at this juncture, I would like to say thank you for turning in, and God bless you, and never give up. Have a good time, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. Shukran jazilan. Yalla, ma salama.
In Juba, Malatori, hey, I'm yo, in Ping William, in Benti, Walla Quadu, hey, wow, in Ping William, in Malkal, Walla Pinyaram, in Ping William.